it's here.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm so happy. So excited. Oh, come on. Are you giving me a hug? Thank you so much. You guys bring us joy, and happiness. You know that. I'm so sorry for my colleague. I'm too happy.
No.
Thank you for the hug, really. I
no worries.
appreciate it. So this is my first question.
Okay.
So as an artist today, how do you feel about the world today? Be honest with us. How do you feel about the world today?
The world?
Yeah. What happened in the world? Yeah. Because you guys
Well,
have.
I'm the wrong person to answer that because I will have. They say basically you got 50% people this way, 50, 33, 33, 33. And whatever you say, there's going to be a certain amount of people agree and the other are going to hate you. Whenever I speak, everybody hates me. So I'm like my dad. I don't tell people what I think they want to hear. And I think there's a lot of issues, obviously. And I see people saying the same things, just very predictable based upon their side. And nobody wants to communicate. It's like I've been saying a lot. They want confirmation. They want you to tell them a certain thing to fit in and have that whole situation. And that's a big part of the problem with the world. No one's really communicating, and so it's sad in a lot of different directions. And I see people that I know that like they're like puppets that just regurgitate stuff. And it's like sad. You can't have a conversation. And I think until people can learn to actually talk. And when people say words are violence, I think that's terrible. Because I know what violence is. I've had a lot of friends killed. And to put that in the same equation where you say, if I say something and you don't like it, that I've assaulted you or something, that's crazy because actually I haven't said anything bad at all. I'm just trying to come to an understanding and try to communicate. And I'm not the one that's trying to force my opinions on other people. But when people try to force their opinions on me, it's 1980, 80, 70, 90 again. And I don't like that. And you go, last thing I'll kind of hand it off because I'm rambling, but you always go to people and they'll come up and you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I say, why don't you go walk over there and do that? You can't tell me what to do. Motherfucker, you just been telling me what to do, and now I tell you and you don't like it. So why the fuck are you telling me what to do? So that's the problem. Everybody expects everybody else to do what they want, and I don't understand why people are scared of communication. Myself,
but. Check. All right, hey. Hi there.
Hey.
Joseph here from Loud TV, fellow California boy here.
What part?
San Diego.
Okay, cool.
So, of course, the term crossover has been used quite a bit in reference to your music, but it can also be used in reference to the number of bands connected to Suicidal for both former and current members. And with such an impressive depth of talent here that you have with your group today, and among those who have gone on to play with other groups, why do you think Suicidal Tendencies has been like a nexus for such an eclectic group of musicians?
Well, I think it's one that goes to the other side of what I was just talking about. We don't expect people to conform. We don't have an agenda. We don't have, you have to do this, you have to do this. I think the world is best when people are themselves. And I think that kind of phrase has been hijacked where people would say, be yourself. They want you to be what they want you to be, not for you to find out truly who you are. And when people follow, whether you go as stupid as the Wright brothers, when they said they were going to fly, it's like, oh yeah, right. But when people do follow their dreams, there's going to be a lot of nightmares. And the people that are going to handle the nightmares are the ones that are going to be able to survive and have things that happen. And for us, I've never been, if I was to tell Thundercat, for instance, what to play on bass, something is wrong. Something's wrong with me, not him. And I think that's one of the points. You let people do what they do best with the way they feel. And I think that works when they have the ability and talent. And my dad said something way back. He goes, my dad's name is Gene. He goes, I don't want on my tombstone to say, here lies Gene Muir. He held people back, And I want people to be able to be the best at what they do, and for them to be happy at what they do. And when you do things that other people want you to do, you're usually not happy, And when you think you're doing what you want to do, sometimes you find out that doesn't bring happiness, and you go to a different path. But I think one of the things with Suicidals is we don't try to make Thundercat be Robert Trujillo, you know, and in that type of situation. And I believe that's why you see the individuality of people that come through. But they also have an understanding what suicidal is, because they all heard suicidal and they know what it meant to them, and they want people to hear what they do to have that same feeling. So I feel very fortunate to be able to be with a lot of people that are incredible musicians, but more so incredible people, you know. Hey, how's it going? You stand up, I'll stand up. Okay.
I'm Arky Vinyl from Mexico, and I get a question for you.
Yeah.
Very short. Okay. How would you describe the relationship between your music and the skate punk culture?
Well, to me, my brother was a pro skateboarder, and so he was 5 years older than me. So he was a pro when he was 17. I was 12 years old. So when I was 12 years old, obviously the world is pretty simple, but you look up at Tony Alva, you know, all these Jay Adams, all these people, and you see these great skaters that you wish you could skate like. And skateboarding was definitely a lifestyle back then. Everybody had their skateboard with them all the time. It's transportation, it was a weapon, it was an activity and stuff. And so the first people that got into suicidal were actually the skaters. The punk rockers said, oh, they're not punk, they're metal. The metal people said they're not metal, they're punk. And it was the skaters that first got in there. And Lance Mountain in '83, he drew one of the first artwork and stuff. And a huge Lance fan and stuff, a great guy. And so seeing all those things happen was, for me, was a great situation, especially going to like skate parks and then hearing them start, the music kind of change, and then hear them play Suicidal in a skate park, you know, and that type of stuff. That was like, wow, that's so cool, you know, and imagine yourself when you're 12 years old, not even doing music or think you could do music, and then to be played and stuff. So skating has always been a huge part to see what the skaters are doing now, and to be able to know them because of, you know, Possessive Skate and all that, and association, it's a great feeling.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your music.
Thank you.
Hi, Mike. Hi, I'm here. Sofian from the RTBF in Belgium. When we see the Suicidal Tendencies bands, there's a very intergenerational aspect to that. You see different generation all getting into this beautiful organized chaos. And you mentioned your father a couple of times throughout this discussion. I want to know what influence your dad had on your taste of music and the rock star you became today.
My dad likes country music, so, but my dad was one that he played football in college, American football, and when you're young and his friends are there and you're growing up and they're like, oh, you know, you're gonna play football? And my dad said he's gonna do whatever he wants to do, and I think that's the thing with my dad. A lot of like my friends now, they skate, you're gonna skate, you know, they this or that, or when I was younger, people, if their parents were doctors, you're gonna be a doctor, this or that. My dad said he's gonna find his path. My brother ended up being, like I said, a pro skater. My sister was an accountant. My other sister was a speech pathologist. It's like, and I somehow got into music, and people would question whether it's music, but you know, he let us find our own path, and I think that's the situation with, now I have 4 kids. It's like, what are they gonna do? I want them to find their own path. You know, one of my expectations and hopes is they'll be happy, that they'll find something that every day, that yesterday may not have been the best and may have been hard, but they're looking forward to doing it again today and trying to make it better, you know, and doing it for the right reason, and they feel it in their heart. And there's too many people who don't feel things in their hearts, you know, except for pain. And so I think that was the thing with my dad, but in the same sense, my dad knew nothing about music, but when we started, he was out there selling t-shirts, you know, and he was always there to whatever it was with my brother. He was there, I'm gonna help do what you're gonna do and stuff. And so that's what I learned, is to be there, to be helpful and to be a part of it. And I think that that family thing is massively important, because I grew up and there's maybe 3 or 4 people I knew that their parents were together, you know, and I saw the difficulties and a lot of situations that people had stemming to their family situation or lack of it and that type of thing. And my dad, because of that, was very aware, and I was talking about it. He said, you got 3 families in life. You got the one you're born into, they're not going to change. Your mom, your dad, your sisters, your cousins, you have to make it work. And the things that work, remember those things. And the things that don't work, remember those things so you don't repeat those things. And then you get a teenager and you have your family from friends that you go to school with or you live by, and you'll find out later you might be disappointed, and those are geographical conveniences, they're not friendships. And then you get older and then you make a family, and then remember all the things that were great, and try to incorporate those and all the things that you didn't like, and don't avoid them and stuff. So I think music is like that. It's a family, and in the same sense, there's one of the ones where traveling and for like France, for the first time you go there, everywhere there's a different language. You see the differences, but when you get past that and you see the similarities, there's so many people that I know that I go, man, if we grew up, I'd be better friends with you than the people I grew up with. And then there's other people that you go like, wow, I'm glad I don't live by them, you know, and stuff. So it's amazing in the world how many great people there are, and a reminder of like how many bad people there are, you know, and try to avoid the people that are going to make more problems in my life or not going to be a good thing, because I at the point I can't fight everybody, you know, and I don't want to fight everybody, but I do want to be a situation where people that see suicidal, they understand why we are the way that we are, and realize that, you know, and life is not always going to be easy. It's going to be fucking hard, you know, and with my kids in school, they don't teach them that. They teach them that there's all these problems and it's not their fault and there's nothing they can do about it. It fucking pisses me off, you know, because I always grew up fighting, you know, whether mentally or physically and stuff, and I realize the mental one's more important. But if you don't stand up for yourself, nobody's gonna fucking do it, you know? And you have to believe in yourself, because no one else will believe in you. They'll just believe in what they want you to do. And what they want you to do is, at the end of the time, when you're older, you're gonna be full of fucking regrets, you know? And that's one of the things I believe. You have to follow your heart and not try to fit into other people's choices.
Thank you, sir.
This was really beautiful, by the way, the answer. Thank you so much. Just have a question. When we think of suicidal tendencies, I can't help thinking of your audience around the world. So, how do you keep this flame alive between you and your audience? People are here and they support you and they love you, and we can feel it, really.
So I think I've learned that sometimes people like people as an escape. It's an imaginary world, you know, actors or this or that. And then sometimes people, I don't sound bad, they like people because they're a person. And I think people know that maybe I'm different, but I'm a person. And I try to be a person. I do not want to be a person. I want to breathe air. I want to drink water. You know, I don't want to be anybody else. I want to be my kids to be people. You know, I want people to be able to get around. And my first choice is to want to not to like people. And that would be my choice. I would love to like people. I can't like everybody. You know, and stuff. And I think people see that, and I enjoy we just did a song for Brazil. We're going to Brazil, and we're very fortunate that we have all these Brazilian artists singing on the record. And to be someone from like Venice that I never thought I'd be able to go anywhere in the world, and then you have people in Brazil that are singing our song because they love the band, and that's a great thing, you know. And so I think wherever we go, there's been so many different stories. We toured here like 27 dates. When You get there early, there's people there, they're taking you to their parents' businesses, you know, and all these different things. And it's a great thing to be able to meet people as people, you know, and so I love that.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, nice hat and shirt. Oh man.
This is Burak from Delicasat magazine from Turkey. I'm curious about, are you working on new stuff? Will we listen new Suicidal album or new songs?
Yeah, well, one of the things we did last record, Will Got Mad in 2016, and I kind of said, it sounds bad, but I don't enjoy making records because it's like full on mental fuck, you know, to me, and then it's the time and the family and everything. It's difficult. But now having like Ben in the band, Jay in the band, like one of the first things Jay did after we did a couple shows is he's like, well, dude, I want to fucking make a record. I want to, you know, and the way he and Ben, they said it, they go like, when we were, you know, Ben was when I was 12 years old and I heard the Suicidal, it spoke to me, you know, and other music, I heard a lot of music and he goes, I want to do a record like that. And that's exactly what Jay said. Obviously having Ty, you know, Robert's son in there, Robert's like, dude, you guys need to make a record, you know, you do that thing. And so I think that we're definitely leaning towards doing it, and we realize that like a lot of people, the music, you look around and you see what's popular, what's trendy, and we go back to what was popular and trendy when we did our first record, and we didn't do any of that, and all the reviews was terrible, and so we'll do a record that people probably will not like, and I will be very happy and stuff. But I think that years from now, that people will sit there and there'll be a lot of people that are not so much into trends or genres that will go like, that's a fucking really badass record, you know. And so that's what I want to do. So as I say, I like to like people, but I don't care if people like me. You know, it makes my life easier.
Yes.
Oh, I'm from Hungary, from Bulgaria.
Oh, cool. We're gonna be there.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm always there.
Yeah.
You've created probably one of the most amazing countries in your history. You never play any songs live from it. Speaking about Art of Rebellion, why is that?
When we did that record, I think for me it was a record that I knew a lot of people would not like, and people, I found like we did a first record, then we did Join the Army, people were expecting to hear the same record, first record done again, you know, and it was different, and people didn't like that. And we did How I Laugh, which was completely different, and then when we did Feel Like Shit, which was completely different, and then we did Lights Camera Revolution was different. And then we did Art of Rebellion was completely different. And a lot of people really did not like that. And for me, it was a record that I wanted to. It was actually more natural because I wrote a lot of the songs, and it was an easy record to make. But it was a record I also wanted to make so that people could say we can do different things. We're always expanded and stuff. And so I think that live, we toured off that record. We played a lot of it, and just really don't want to. Haven't felt like playing these songs. Yeah.
You have a French version. You have a French version of your song.
Yeah. So my favorite story, there's someone at the label that I considered French. She was a really sweet lady, and so we really wanted to do something because we've done some missions in France, and we felt so accepted. And I was telling the story how Solomon, who was the promoter, when we played the first time, he goes, I want you to play more places in France. And so I went to our booking agent and said, I was talking to the promoter, he said, we could play all these other places. And our booking agent was English, said, oh, no. You play in Paris because it's on the way to London. And I was like, oh. And Solomon really pushed, and we fought and did a couple shows, and it was great, And then we did a bunch more. We did, like I said, I think it was 20 shows at one time. And the way everybody treated it was special, so I wanted to try to do this. So I said, okay, we'll sing it. I'll try to sing it in French. And so when we got there, she was saying, oh, this song, I can't even say. She says, oh, I hear that, I just smile, look this and that. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling great. She goes, yes. She goes, I don't know what you're saying, but it sounds so funny, So I tried, and then I was like, going, okay, that's it. I'm not going to. But I think it's the language sounds so beautiful, and I thought it sounded really good. But obviously, I'm not French, so it does not go over as well. But I think people appreciated the effort. I did try. Went to went to a professor at UCLA to try to help me to do a little bit, and then speaking and then singing are different things too. And but yeah, it was intended to be a very heartfelt thing.
Hi, Mike. I'm Paula from Rock Brigade, Brazil. I don't have a really question.
Yeah.
Just say we are waiting for you there.
Yes. Oh, I'm really excited. So we for the Brazil thing, we had a week off, and after this tour, and then when I guess it's a National Rock Day, July 13th, and then when they had there's a arena and they do a pre-show, and so that okay, we'd love to do that. The only problem is I'm flying straight from here to Brazil, and then straight from Brazil back to the States, and so it's a long time. But to be able to do that's great. The only bad thing is obviously Porto Alegre with the floods, because we were supposed to play there, and that was kind of sad because besides the situation, so many people are like, don't cancel the show. We really tried with the promoter and everything, and there's a massive flood in Brazil, and the airport was like 4 feet underwater. The bus place, there's no way to get in there. There's so many people that are homeless, and you don't see it on the news. It isn't something that is as clickbait as all politics and this and that. But it's sad what's going on, and having so many Brazilian friends and have family there. It's sad, but there's no way to do it. So we're hoping in the future to be able to do like a free show there when everything gets normalized. But that's the only bad side of it. But yeah, we're really excited to go back.
Another question.
Yes.
From me, sorry.
No, that's fine.
So I just want to say that lockdown helped me discover new bands, new things like rock. Lockdown helped me discover new things. So what about you? Did lockdown help you discover new music, new band, or stuff like this? Thank you.
I thought that was a band, and I was like, I don't know who the fuck they are. You mean COVID? The COVID lockdown? Is that what you said? Yeah. Well, that's another one. You got to be careful what you say. I don't think that it was handled very well in a lot of ways and stuff. There's a lot of people, like why I don't like politics, that brought out the absolute worst. And you could see people just love being on camera and this and that. And there's a lot of people that were suffering. And you see with this, especially in the States, with the kids and the schooling. Some of my friends have kids, the troubles that they went through and are going through. You see the suicide rates gone way up and all these things. And a lot of people won't talk about it because it goes against their politics, rather than being like, we got a fucking problem. This is like, people may not, have to wear the mask and this, but we got a problem. People are messed up from that. And so there was a lot of people that did well. Usually people that had a lot of money came out of it really well. But there's a lot of people that have not good environments that need to get out of where they live. That's their escape, and it keeps their sanity, and they couldn't. So I found myself going the opposite. I did not listen to music at all. You know, I was was concerned. My dad broke his neck. My dad's 95 now, but he was 91, broke his neck in January, right when it started. So he couldn't get the care that was needed. And then he also kind of based it on age. So he's like, well, you're 91, you know. And so there's a lot of issues where you see things that happened that I don't like. So I was really concentrating on my family and that type of situation. I think that was the whole thing. I was really concerned about a lot of my friends. And so everybody had different experiences. I know some people, they made a lot of money, they're happy, you know. And but I hope that well, it's kind of sad because people still can't talk about it because people say, well, you're a one. I go, no, I'm not. I just, you know, there's some things that don't you think, and on people on both sides, it's like there's a lot of space in between this side or that side. And the only reason why it's worth talking about is because when something happens again, we have to learn. You know, we have to learn, and I don't think people learn things. They just learn to be more stubborn, and that's not good. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Cool.